And thanks for staying with Morning Live. And this morning, the end of a chapter, closing this one. And it really feels like a seminal moment because it is just that the last remaining of the Rivonia trees and trialists, of which there were more than 150, I think 159, has now passed on. And that's Andrew Mlangeni. And as you can see there in the visuals on our screen at the moment, that cortege making its way to the University of Johannesburg UJ campus, and I think they've just arrived there from his home in Dube in Soweto. Leanne, of course, we will be having more conversations as we learn more about the life and times of Andrew Mlangeni, but one of the speakers this morning at that funeral service will of course be former President Thabo Mbeki. We'll also hear from Professor Mlangeni, who is part of the June and Andrew Mlangeni Foundation.
Yeah, and then of course the eulogy being given by President Cyril Ramaphosa. You know, we talk about the Rivonia trialists, and there's an interesting timeline of looking at exactly sort of the years that they each passed on, and of course, as we keep on saying, this is the end of a generation, the end of a chapter, the end of history, and a very important question that was asked a bit earlier, who carries on this? So it's the legacy and memory that needs to live on, but the work also still needs to be done. And if we go back to Elias Motsoaledi, he died on the 9th of May. That was in 1994. Then Governor Mbeki, August the 30th, 2001. Walter Sisulu, the 5th of May, 2003. Raymond Mhlaba, February the 20th, 2005. Then, of course, our former president, Nelson Mandela, the 5th of December, 2013. Then we saw the passing of Ahmed Kathrada, another sad moment for South Africa, the March the 28th, 2017. And Dennis Goldberg, not so long ago, saying goodbye to him on the 29th of April. And the chapter closes today as we bid farewell to Tata Andrew Mlangeni, passing away on the 21st of July, 2020. So, you know, these figures that we all have watched, we've grown up learning about, we've spoken to their stories, and yeah, they're no longer, none of them walking amongst us anymore.
Indeed, Leanne, and we unfortunately haven't learned enough about them and the stories. There were so many men and women who were arrested and charged with treason by the apartheid government, and those you mentioned, you know, just punctuating a whole group of men and women who bravely fought against the system and fought for what we have today. And I often say these civil liberties that we take for granted, people have literally sacrificed their lives for.
Yeah, unbelievable. I mean, 26 years is what Tata Andrew Mlangeni spent behind bars, and this, you know, I heard we've got the most incredible archives here at the SABC. We really do. They must be treasured, because I was listening to an interview that he had done, again reminiscing on his life and times, and going back to the morning after they were sentenced to life imprisonment, and I don't think they believed that that would ever happen, but it happened, and they were woken up at 3 o'clock in the morning, taken to a military Air Force base. They were handcuffed, thrown into a military aircraft, and then flown to Robben Island. None of them knew where they were going, handcuffed on a plane, because, you know, that's the way it was, and that was where they spent their lives. And they waited for that infamous block to be built, where they were all housed and stayed there for the many, many years to come. So these are stories we need to retell. We need to let South Africans, particularly the youth, know what was sacrificed by the generations before us for what they have today.
Indeed. All right, I believe we're quickly going to take sport with Valen, and then we'll come back and continue paying tribute to Andrew Mlangeni.